But so you're down in Texas. I'm still up in the Pacific Northwest. Just curious, have you been paying attention to the Texas Legislature walkout stuff that's been going on?
Oh yeah, drama, drama, drama.
Well, tell me what you know about that, because I woke up to the news saying that the governor was sending out the Texas Rangers to arrest all the guys who weren't showing up to work, and I just I got a picture of Chuck Norris trying to hunt down a bunch of politicians. I'm like,
Great.
we got Walker Texas Ranger over here going to be making some arrests. So what's been going on with that?
Okay, so I don't know when, but in recent months, I think the Supreme Court made a decision that has an effect on what attributes can be taken into account when you're drawing district lines for legislative purposes, right? For representations,
Right.
for representatives, right? So, we all know there's states out there like Illinois that have these absolutely ridiculously drawn lines, right?
Yeah, every time the census rolls around, they want to whoever's in charge draws the lines to make it, in their best interest to get as many seats as they can for their state.
Right. And so, like, let's say that you have a stronghold of the opposition. So if you split it up, you splinter it into different districts, right? And have just a little bit of it in each of the districts, then all of a sudden you can overwhelm each of those districts with voters and tilt everything in your favor, right?
Yeah, so if you're on Team Blue, you draw the crayon lines around where the cities are, and you kind of include as many of the surrounding areas. And if you're on Team Red, you focus more on how can we cut up the split cities.
Right, and cut up the blue stronghold with little slices into the red so that they're overwhelmed by the red when you look at the district in aggregate.
Yeah, so it's a numbers game for population.
Right. And the thing is that there are many both sides are super guilty of this, right? And there are many states out there. And I think, I don't know, I don't have the data to back this up, but I'm pretty sure that there's one side that's kind of does this more egregiously than others. So, like, if you look at the demographics of Illinois or California, or Massachusetts, some of those others, those states, they have like zero conservative representation. Everything is progressive, liberal.
Oh wow! Right? So they have like 100% lock on some states.
Yes, 100% lock.
I didn't know that.
And there's like at least a dozen states, I think, that have zero red districts. Everything is blue.
Wow.
And that doesn't seem like, just any normal person looking at that can kind of think like, I bet that there is probably enough conservatives in the state to have some form of representation, even just one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all that aside, back to the Supreme Court decision. They did something. I don't remember exactly what the decision was. It was something about like restricting race as being something. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was. But anyways, Texas took this and they're like, okay, we're going to redraw our lines taking this into consideration. And the proposed map would turn, I think, 5 House of Representative seats or something into, they would flip them from blue to being likely red.
Now, is this House like national House, or is this House like state House?
I believe it's the House of Representatives, like what representatives you send to National Congress.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression it was affecting the state legislature and their numbers. But either way, I mean, representative.
Maybe it is, but yeah, you might be right. I have a couple of different maps floating around in my head right now. I'd have to go look it up. But regardless, I don't know if it's national or state. You may be right. But regardless, it would flip a few seats from red to blue. And so there is a law.
Blue to red, because the red's in power.
Blue to red. Sorry, my apologies. There's a law in Texas where there's 150, whatever map it is, it's being redrawn by the Texas House of Representatives, by the Texas State House of Representatives. And there's 150 members, if I remember correctly. And there is a law, or at least procedural law. I don't know what weight it is, whether it's just procedural or actual like law. But you have to have 2/3 quorum before you can cast a vote on anything.
Mm-hmm.
So 51 Democrats have they have not only just not shown up to work, but they have fled the state because there are ways that if they were in the state, they could be compelled to come back. But if they're out of state, right, like then it takes greater effort to pull them back.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're in state, you just go grab them by the collar and drag them in and say, all right, vote. Here you
Yep.
go. So if they're not there, they're
And
not there. So are they going to arrest them? Have any arrests been made? What's the plan? What's the future look like?
so, yeah, there is. So it started out with fining them $500 a day. Uh, and the absolute tone deaf, silly thing that they did is the bulk of them, if not all of them, fled to Illinois over gerrymandering. And it's like
Oh,
you're fleeing from Texas to the state that is arguably the worst gerrymandered state in all of the 50 states.
well, they get the
So
Chicago political machine is there, so there's probably money involved and other things going on.
there's that, and I can't help but notice that Mr. J.B. Pritzker is taking up most of the frame in every single news conference about this. He loves his time in the spotlight, and him being a billionaire personally, he's probably footing the bill for a bunch of this stuff just to get himself on TV more. That doofus. But
So are they going to do a
anyway,
vote without them? Are they going to like
they can't.
abdicate their throne?
They
I mean,
can't by law do anything without them. So not only have they stopped have those at least 51 right representatives fled the state
right?
and kept this vote from happening, but they've kept other legislation from happening, like something like we just had a massive flood up in Kerrville, right?
Yeah.
And so like there's disaster relief measures that need to be considered and voted on, and those can't be because all of those folks fled the state. So it's not just about the gerrymandering thing. It's actually you're grinding necessary work to a halt because you're acting like petulant children because
Are
you're going to lose
are there any
discussing.
are there
Go
fail
ahead.
safes involved, or like if they don't show up, like replace them, or they just don't count, and so now we're one less in the vote, or what do they have?
I don't know specifics. I do know that there is a way that they can be lose their job, right? Like if you don't show up to work, you lose your job. That's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently not in government. You can, just refuse to show up for days, if not weeks, and still have a job. But there is a way of doing that. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I do know that there is precedent for this dereliction of duty to be leveraged into a what's the word, a felony. It can be
Oh
turned
yeah,
into
yeah.
a felony. So they do face serious repercussions, but honestly, I'd be surprised if anything ever happens because it always feels like
Well,
when
I won't hold my breath because it usually seems like it's just political theater for a couple of weeks, and then it
yep,
goes back to status quo. So
yep, yeah.